So in the first place, we know that when we create a city, it's actually we're creating jobs. We're creating an opportunity for work. So we started not only a mall that giving 1,000 kind of jobs in the city, but every time we're thinking about the facility in the town, we're thinking about regional use. In the development of 1,300 hectares, probably you don't want to think you build a mall for the regional. But in the first concept, we always said to ourselves that we will have regional mall. So in the early 90s, we already built 180,000 GFH mall, 20 kilometers from Jakarta. Everybody will say that's the crazy things that we did. But we say no, we have to go to that direction. And then on the facility like the hospital facility, we always said we would like #1 quality hospital in Indonesia. So we go through with the Gleneagles in Singapore to have the first our hospital. But right now we already separate. We have our own hospital called Siloam. And then in the set of hotel, we go along with the Century and make a new hotel. But right now we have our own brand name called Arya. And then we already have some hotel also in Singapore like Mandarin Orchard, but that one run like Mandarin. So again, with that kind of big injection in facility, we would like to join venture with the most experienced partner in the world. Used to be in our mall, we joint venture with Rodemco from the Netherlands. They are quite good in the retail business and so on. So by doing that, actually we survive on that. But the most important thing that I keep thinking is that how to really finance that kind of very big and very complicated infrastructure. It's actually we just blessing that we are not bankrupt at the end of the day, because if you calculate the road that we built, the mall that we built, the hospital, the hotel and so on in the quite the same time, 3-4 years like that, you can imagine the financial things that we have to put, the money that we have to put. But at the end of the day, yeah, we just blessing actually to have that. If you go again to Pak James and talking about this, he will say that at this age, I don't dare do anything like that anymore, because it's just the guts that he has the feeling to really go there and so on. He will say, if I have to do this township all over again, he will have to open some small of the land and then make everything into one. 11 in 1, that's it. Because used to be we just have hotel 3 kilometers from the city center. We will have the golf in the center. We will have the and all the infrastructure laid down all over the place. It's just crazy actually what we did in the early 90s. So at the end of the day, we just said that we would like to retain more population. We would like to create more jobs, and by doing that, actually we try to have international brand coming in. So the first tower we built is actually 50 stories apartments. You can imagine 20 kilos from the central of Jakarta, we built one of the highest tower in Jakarta. We built it together with Hyundai from Korea. And then it comes to the office. We try to relocate all the Lippo business into Lippo village. So it's actually we provide a bus system and so on. So we'll have the Lippo Bank headquarters right in the middle of our town. And then eventually we also go along with the AIG insurance and make another towers, and becomes they already sitting here for the AIG headquarters in Jakarta as well. And then by doing that and have that kind of joining in with the many international branding to the city, so then we have that kind of investment coming in. So right now, I don't know if you do have time to really go around and survey our township. I said to Real and also Pak David Utama, if you can really go into one bus and then can see all over the place our development, you can really have that kind of vision, that one city that we built right now. So in the early 90s and coming to the midst of 2000, we do build a lot of landed houses. Which is for the landed houses, we already have about 10,000 houses and shop houses that we built. And then we have actually, the thing is to build the township with all the housing, very much difficult to control, because wherever you build a house, a home in Jakarta, you can build wherever you want. There is no regulation really strictly for the sharing air, the sharing sunlight that's coming to your house. There is no code of the building, what kind of color, what kind of architecture that you will have actually in Jakarta. But for the land more than 5,000 meters square, Jakarta has very good building permission process. But below that, actually, you can do whatever you want. So when we started to open up our new cluster, we already think that we need building committee. The building committee will set up all the standard, set up all the plot ratio, the setback, the architecture, the color. Even we would like to know the layout of the building. So at the end of the day, we not only retain the quality of the neighborhood, but we also can give the welfare for each of the property to really maintain their property value. You can imagine if one plot that you build is actually follow any building regulation, and the next building is actually build whatever they want, to big bulk building, the property here will reduce down the value. So we don't want to do that. We set up the rules, but it's a long way to really keep our customer understand that kind of value happen here. So right now in Lippo, you can see more or less, we will have the state standard of the architecture, the coloring scheme, all the regulation is great, because we just have the MOU with the local government. Because whatever they get the permit, the real permit from the local government, it has to come from our building committee approval first. And then when we talking about the engineering factors that we created here, somehow in Jakarta we don't have setting out the rule for the flooding. So wherever you build in Jakarta is actually you can just fill in the land, and then you don't have to really taking care of your the water engineer will call it the delta Q, the water that will burden all your river and all your drainage to the sea. So we said to ourselves that it cannot happen to us, because we will live together with the villagers surrounding us. We cannot get rid of our floods to the villagers. So we said to the consultant engineer that how we can retain the flood and the rain that coming to our development, and then we can retain ourselves. Then the idea came to have the inner development is actually the retention part, the retention capacity. But we also understand by having engineered retention pond and everything, it don't give any value to the land. So that's why we come up with the idea of the Gulf that have 14 connecting lakes. By having the Gulf, is actually we creating a value not only for retaining the water, but we also creating a value for the housing that fronting the Gulf. Right now, the price and the value of the housing that fronting the Gulf is one of the most expensive in Jakarta that you can have. And then our Gulf area is designed such a way, it's an 18 holes Gulf, it's an international standard. We worked with Desmond Murhat. He was a really brilliant guy. When he creating a golf, is actually he's asking for touring to a lot of city in Indonesia to grasp what is Indonesia, because he's Westerner, he doesn't really know about Indonesia. So we give him about 2 weeks, go all around Indonesia. He came down to make the golf that have the glimpse of the Indonesian culture. So in our golf we have the Borobudur things, we have a lot of things that coming from the Indonesian engineering style. That's fantastic. It's actually our goal. But again, at the end of the day, we would have both the engineering solution, and yet we also can retain and maintain our property value for the property that fronting the golf. Yeah. So we also said to the government that we would like to have more direct connections to the toll access, and then we just built the connections to the toll by ourselves, by our money actually. So we are the first property development that have direct access to the toll. Right now you can see all the private developer in Indonesia will do the same things actually. It's really fortunate that in Singapore you have all the MRT system already happens. You will have all the MRT hub that you can stop in one place, and then you can find out not only transportation hubs that connecting to the bus, tram and so on. You will have the retailers, you will have a lot of things happens, and then you will have dense apartments, HDB coming. That kind of development that right now, I believe as a planner, should happen also in Jakarta.